The priest began to share his story of being a missionary for the church for more than 12 years in South America, South and Central, and in Mexico, and even in Hell's Kitchen, in New York. When he was released from the hospital, he needed a place to go to and instead of letting him stay with a Catholic family, I told my father that we should invite him to live with us in the countryside along with our families and Muhammad. It was agreed by everyone that he would go, and he moved on immediately. Should priests study Islam? Yes. During the trip to our at home, I talked to the priest about some concepts of beliefs in Islam, and to my surprise, he agreed and shared even more about it with me. We're shocked when he told me that Catholic priests study Islam, and some even study Islam, have doctorates in the subject. All of this was very enlightening to me. But there was still much more to come. Different versions of the Bible. After settling in, we started gathering around the kitchen table after dinner every day. Nights to discuss religion. My father brought his version of King James from the Bible. I brought my revised version of the Bible. My wife had another version. Perhaps something like Jimmy Swaggart's Good News. The priest, of course, it had the Catholic Bible, which contains 7 more books than the Protestant Bible. So we spent more time talking about which Bible was correct than trying to convince Muhammad to become a Christian. The Quran has only one version, in Arabic, and continues to exist. At a certain point I remembered asking him about the Quran and how many versions of it there were in the last 1,400 years. He told me that there was only one Quran, and that there had never been changed. He even told me that the Quran had been fully memorized by hundreds of thousands of people who were scattered across the earth in many different countries. Over the centuries since the Quran was revealed, millions have memorized it in its entirety and taught it to others who have memorized it completely, from end to end, letter by letter, without errors. Today, more than 9 million of Muslims memorized the entire Quran from end to end. How was it possible? That didn't seem possible to me. Anyway, the original languages of the Bible had become dead languages centuries ago, and the original documents were lost hundreds and thousands of years ago. So how could it be so easy that something like this could be preserved and recited in a way that could be recited in a way that could be preserved and recited in a way that could be recited in a way that could be preserved and recited in end to end? Father goes to the mosque. One day the priest asked Muhammad himself could accompany him to the mosque to see what things were like there. Returned talking about his experiences, and we couldn't wait to ask the priest what it was like and about all kinds of ceremonies they had performed. He said who did nothing. They just arrived, prayed and left. I said, did they leave? Without speeches or songs? He said he was correct. Priest enters Islam. A few more days passed and the Catholic priest he asked Muhammad if he could accompany him to the mosque. But this time it was different. They took a long time to return. It got dark and we were worried that something had happened to them. Finally they arrived, and when they appeared at the door I immediately recognized Muhammad. But who were you with him? Someone wearing a white robe and a type of cap white. Wait a minute, it was the priest. I said to him, Pete? He said he had entered the Islam that same day. The priest became a Muslim. What would come next? You will see.